I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is the Meridian Solid Waste Advisory Commission regular meeting for Wednesday, September 28th. It is now 2 minutes after 4, and we'll start off with roll call. Indicate if you are present, either by video or here in the chambers. Kaylee Philippi.
Here.
Megan Larson.
Here.
Mark Nelson.
Here.
Steve Corey. Here. Scott Walters.
Here.
Sean Keating.
Here.
Taryn Richmond. And Tom Oddie.
Here.
Next, we'll go through the ex officio members. Rochelle Klein.
Here.
Quorum being present, we'll go ahead and move on. The agenda has been sent out to you for your consideration. I do want to add a second item in new business, item 6, which will be the Recycle the Fall and the fall leaf recycling, give you the details of that. So with that addition, are there further comments on the agenda, proposed agenda?
Mr. Chair, no comments, but I would move to approve the agenda as written.
Second. Sir, Mr. Chair, I'd approve as noted. Add item 6.
Thank you, Mark.
It's been moved and seconded that the agenda be approved as amended. Further comments? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? The motion passes. Thank you. And so we will move on to the minutes from the August 24th meeting. Those two have been distributed by email. Are there any comments on the draft minutes?
Mr. Chair, no comments, but move to approve the August 24th minutes as written.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that the draft minutes for the August 24th meeting be approved as written. Are there further comments or? Further comments? Sensing the commission is ready for a vote, all those in favor of approving the draft minutes as written signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The motion passes. With that, we will go ahead and move on to old business. And I want to go ahead and state again, of course, this is Kaylee's last meeting with us, and she's off to college. Really appreciated the dose of vitality that always comes from the youth commissioners, and her participation in our meetings, and really hope the best for you. Members of the commission, does anyone else want to chime in?
I would just add that it's a pleasure working with you, Kaylee, and best of luck at school.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed being here, and I think it was really cool for me to learn about how things run in the city and with Republic Services and stuff. I'm really grateful for this opportunity to be here.
Again, good luck in your future endeavors and in college, and we hope to hear from you down the road.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to the next item under old business. The next item on the agenda is picking up the continued item of Recycle a Bicycle volunteer recruitment. And
Mr. Chair, when we spoke last month, we were going to get together with a couple options to get some there's some programs out there, some websites or different resources, and we can start looking at those. I think the immediate issue right now is to do some house cleaning out at the transfer station and kind of sort through what we have again, if we can get whoever 3 or 4 people available to help us do that the next week or two. I'm going to refer to Rochelle to make sure we have enough bikes to sort. I thought so. I'm kind of tied up the next couple weekends, but maybe, I don't know if next Tuesday is another option, or it's a date that works here soon.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Nelson, we are in Las Vegas next week. We have the Idaho Solid Waste Association meeting, which is going to be actually held in Las Vegas to see our like recycling facility, our landfill, our hog farm, all that kind of stuff. So we'll be gone Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Well, yeah, we'll be back Thursday. So maybe the following week. But I did sort bikes yesterday morning for several hours, so I think we're cleared out at the drop site. They're all against the fence, but we do have Farmway Villages looking for bikes, and we have a 10 bike request in from the rescue mission in Boise as well. So any time that people can come over and even strip, we don't even have to do it as a group. We can do it independently too if people want to come over, and I can get you set up and with a high-vis vest back against the fence. We can. So maybe not everyone's schedules sync up, but we could still utilize your time if you're available.
So can we get some requests from Farmway Village, and that would be adults and children bikes probably, a variety. And then you said 10 more for Is there any timelines on either one? Just as soon as we can get something. The more we get done, the more we get out of there. Well, you'll be gone next Tuesday, but if anyone's available Tuesday, I could be out there at 4 o'clock and at least do some house cleaning so that we can get a feel for what's available that needs fixed. And I'd like to also come out and collect up all the tools that we purchased in the toolbox, and I have a couple of the other, like the bike stand. I'd like to consolidate all together and kind of sort them, and then get them available for when we get some people that can help fix bikes here soon. So
Yesterday, when I was out there yesterday, I saw the toolbox, but I didn't see any tools, but I saw the bolt cutters.
Okay, I think Sayard has some of the tools, and I have the bike stand, and we just need to get together, maybe Sayard and I, and consolidate all our stuff.
So I brought all the tools out there. It should be in that room,
Okay,
the I don't, that little room where you guys have a bunch of stuff. It should all be there, and there's like a little inventory list where I showed you when we were out there. Okay.
well, can I ask that maybe on Tuesday of next week, I'll commit to being out there at 4. I know you guys will be gone, but if I can still get access to that room, and if anyone's available, we can maybe at least sort a little bit about what's around the drop-off area. Okay. Okay. So if anyone's available then, I can commit to being out there. That's probably the only day I can make it work until after the 8th. And then following the 8th, then I can be pretty flexible. And I can shoot some emails out to folks and kind of ping who's available.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner, I can be there on Tuesday, October 4th.
Perfect. So let's get that on the books, and then we kind of need to know kind of what we have out there, and before I ask a ton of people to come help fix bikes.
What time were you thinking at 4?
Yeah, 4 or 3:30 if that helps.
4 is better.
I could be there at 4.
Okay.
4 on the 4th.
4 on the 4th. I like that. And then also that was discussed here last month was getting kind of some bullet items or some requirements to Republic Services to help set up a better area for us to work. And I didn't do anything with that until today. But I sent a list to Commissioner Walters and Rochelle so that we can kind of do a quick look at that and see else any other ideas we can get to forward on.
Like, what would be an example of just like a cover area to work on, so to get out of the weather,
Yeah.
or what were you thinking of?
Well, ideally, we would have a shed with closing doors and a lockable area for a lot of that stuff that's in that closet, but things like salvaged parts and inner tubes and all that kind of stuff, all that kind of, inventory of miscellaneous parts. It'd be nice to get that stuff kind of closer to where the bikes are. And then we wouldn't be hauling things back and forth. And then if we can get some protection from the wind, a table or, like a picnic table sort of thing, just so we have a kind of a working service or a workbench. I know that's asking a lot. And then just an area where we can, or some pretty simple bike racks that we could put together that would, so you can at least line up the bikes you're working on. So we have an area for the ones that are kind of fixed. And then we'll sort by size the stuff along the fences. It's kind of in my head, but maybe we can get together and kind of sketch that out. We'll ask for the world and we appreciate anything, though. And get back to us. All right, October 8th. Let's kind of get this stuff dusted back off. October 4th. Oh, October 8th, sorry, is the other date in my head. I think the concern there is I can work 4 to 5, but then you kind of start locking up. So it'll be kind of a quick turnaround unless somebody from Republic is there to escort us out. So we'll work on that. Logistics. Any other questions between now and Tuesday?
No, thank you, though, for taking the lead on that. And I just sent out an invite to our team and anybody who, and I'll include you, Meg, as well. So, no, thank you very much for taking the lead on that.
You bet, and I expect comfortable weather, no rain, no wind, no snow. Finally. Or heat, excessive heat, yeah.
Further discussion or comments on that item? I kind of feel like that maybe covers both the Recycle a Bicycle volunteer recruitment and SWAC volunteers needed to process donated bikes at the MTS. But if there's further comments on either of those two, they'd be appropriate at this point.
Mr. Chair. One project bike that would be for an adult male, so we can add that to our list.
Chair, I have a question. Actually, a comment also. A comment, someone did email us looking for a female bike, so that should be emailed to you. I don't know much about it yet, so hopefully she'll email out. She's looking just for a specific bike. But I guess I wanted to go back to number 3, the recruitment, because I thought last meeting you guys were going to talk about looking, maybe setting up like I think, Meg, you were going to set up some type of sign-up sheet or something to get outside volunteers to help fix bikes. I wasn't sure where that landed. I know you guys wanted to talk about that again.
Yeah, so I got some information last month, but I haven't really pursued it. We kind of need to, I think the goal would be is if we have, like we have now, like a list of requests, and then we can kind of figure out what we have, then we could request some help. So we can start looking at what those resources were that were listed last month. I'm not really ready to put things, dates out there and what skills we need until we kind of get back out there. I haven't been out there for a few months. I need to get back out there and get organized first.
So I just add, I have some thoughts, ideas of things we could try. There's volunteermatch.org, I think, and a couple of other organizations, key clubs at high schools, et cetera. But we need some specifics around the request with the dates, times, and what we're looking for. So I'll continue to work with Commissioner Nelson, and I'm happy to put those postings out there and field emails and so forth from folks. But in terms of when we can be out there, who's going to show folks the ropes when they arrive and things like that, that's what we need to coordinate on. Nothing worse than getting a group of volunteers and not being ready for them to work, so.
Yeah, so we'll get back on that here soon once we kind of get organized.
Further comments? Very good. Then October 4th, we'll hopefully get a chance to figure out what we want.
All right, thank you.
And with that, we complete old business. Actually, let's see. In new business, the first item 5, SWAC should to explore partnerships for collaborative outreach activities, ideas. And I think this just kind of opens it up as far as the first time it's been brought up, but to go ahead and find out if anyone has any suggestions on new activities. We seem to spike in the spring and have Recycle a Bicycle and cleanup activities and Public Works Expo. We certainly could pick something else up, but I'm not sure if anyone's got a suggestion they want to kick around at this point, but it would be appropriate to do so at this time.
Mr. Chairman, it's Rochelle. I have an idea that on the outreach side, I'd love to see us focus on, kind of an area where we haven't historically focused, which is tree limbs 14 feet above the roadways, because we've really been struggling lately with getting down streets to provide service, and we'll hit tree limbs below. ACHD in both the city have ordinances which require tree limbs to be 8 feet above sidewalks at least and 14 feet or more above the roadways. So we're getting more calls lately for, calling an arborist to replace someone's tree or fix someone's tree, when the reality is the limbs are hanging, 8 feet above the road. So in order for us to even collect the trash carts, we have to drive through the urban forest to do that. And so I don't think a lot of people realize it's their responsibility to keep, the roadways clear and alleys clear. So at least 14 feet of overhead clearance would be just a campaign. And, maybe we can do some sort of, coupon, if you can show us a before and after picture of your street or something to encourage people to trim their trees back. I think Meridian is growing up, and we're starting to see a lot of those little saplings. The 2-inch caliber trees are now, much bigger and with limbs that hang over into the road.
Mr. Chair, Rochelle, to your knowledge, does ACHD do any kind of outreach around, because the roadways is their responsibility?
Thank you, Commissioner Larson. No.
Mr. Chair and Rochelle, does the city of Meridian, the arborist, are they in charge of trimming, or is it?
Thank you, Commissioner King. No, the city arborist, that's not, they take care of lots of trees in the city, but not any trees planted on private property that I know of. I think every homeowner is responsible for their own trees, unless they're, something different.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I can double check on that just to clarify, but I think right now probably, if it is an issue, maybe sending information out to HOAs or our regular outreach avenues to get that taken care of, the city outreach avenues to take care of.
Well, and one of the really nice things is I've reached out to ACHD several times in the last couple of weeks, and they said to reach out to their communications team to see if they would support a larger campaign, and that happens to be, Emma Bowers and Shandy Lamb, both from the city of Meridian, are now the public information officers for ACHD. So we have some connections over there that might be helpful too. So we'll see if they can push out information supporting that as well. I think they've been relatively silent on, trees and clearing alleys for a while.
Go ahead. I just have something to add. I think MUBs, the billing insert, might be a good way to spread the word to trim your trees, and we could, even have an examples of how high and stuff like that, and maybe a picture of a truck, a Republic Services truck.
Just for the record, I know, I think our neighborhood was one of them that was on the chip seal cycle this last year. And at the start of the time when HCHD goes ahead and announces the chip seal, part of their announcement includes a reminder that homeowners are responsible for their trees and that they should trim them back to 14 feet above the tree deal, but it's buried down below. Obviously, the first part is, hey, we're going to be over there to do chip sealing. And I'm pretty sure most of those postcards get thrown in the recycle bin before anyone goes any further than that. But that would only hit a homeowner maybe every 4 or 5 years. So, yeah, I think ACHD should be receptive, but they may need a little bit of thoughts on how to go ahead and reach out to people.
From a compliance standpoint, who's responsible for that? So if there is a compliance violation, is it a county or city or homeowner or association?
Well, it depends on if you live in an HOA, but usually if it's HDS, if it's the Ada County District, then they have a compliance officer that would go out, but they would work in conjunction with our code enforcement. That's usually how it happens. So you would call in probably some, phone number, and that's how that would work. But yeah, I think this type of outreach would probably be best. We can reach out to Emma and see if there's some coordination between the city and that group that can work to, educate the people on tree height.
Mr. Chair, Sayard, it looks like, and maybe it's a Rochelle question, looking to my left here, it looks like the materials are already done, but the fall leaf recycling information would be a great place because people are thinking about trees.
I missed it.
Yeah. Oh, it's already out.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Roddy.
we also have something just about clearances for safe collection of trash carts in our cart placement video that we made a couple years ago with the help of Republic. So we could even use some of the cutouts from that, as we specifically mentioned trees being 13 feet above a trash can and out of the way of operation.
Chair, Tom, yeah, and I think it's actually on our website, the cart placement. I think there's some pictures of that. And also in the lobby here, I think we also have that as well.
So I'm kind of hearing maybe the first option is through the billing insert program, unless anyone's got anything else at this point. Okay. If anyone does come up with any ideas, I guess get them to myself or Sayard so we kind of keep track of what's going on, but we'll make sure that they get distributed over and get this conversation going, because I do know you don't want to go ahead and wear down your trucks trying to fight through the urban forest.
Chair, I have a question. I think this Explore Partnerships, did you talk to Joanna about exploring partnerships with the Arts Commission about jointly working together to maybe use items like recyclable items or items that were already discarded, but to develop some type of art installation?
Sayard, I have not been given a contact for the Arts Commission to go ahead and follow through on that. I'd be willing to do that. I was given a contact over with the Senior Commission and have been getting that communication path opened up, but I'll probably work with Mark about that one to make sure that we get good communication on that need. But yes, I'd be very happy to go ahead and open up the one with the Art Commission too, if I could get the contact information.
Yeah, sure, I can certainly send you that. But I guess, is that something that you guys want to discuss today? I don't know if that was on your agenda, if that's what you guys are interested in this type of outreach, is to work with the other commission to do something.
To flesh that out, a suggestion has been made that maybe we could go ahead and create an event, for example, using recycled materials in some kind of an art project, but go ahead and then have a judged art contest for art that was produced using recycled materials. Certainly something that would be fun, but I don't know if there's any comments by members, if that's the right path to maybe start fleshing out, or if there's a one-off that's a suggestion, but now would be a great time to discuss that possibility.
Mr. Chair, I certainly think it's a really fun idea. I would suggest chatting with the Arts Commission first and seeing if they're interested in including that in their Art Week activities or separately, or how that might work, and then we can come and discuss with SWAC with some more specifics of what that might look like and if there's interest on the behalf of the Arts Commission and so forth. I think us building out a proposal without having talked to them about it is a bit premature.
Mr. Chair, I agree with Commissioner Larson about that. I think it's a really fun idea. It's really creative.
And Mr. Chairman, as far as partnerships, I don't know if this is relating to the community recycling funds or if it's just partnerships in general, but I would like to see, if possible, we at least explore the library again, because I know last time we worked with the library, they put together that little mini library, and I don't know if there are any library projects that might be out there that might be opportunities to support also.
Thank you. I'm recording notes, though of course those will be in the minutes too. Further comments on any kind of collaborative outreach idea? Well, again, keep it in mind. If something comes to you, pass it back to us, and we'll do what we can to flesh it out. And in the meantime, yeah, I'll go ahead and reach out to the Arts Commission and see what their feelings are about this. Further comments? I think we'll go ahead and move on. As Commissioner Larson had identified, I went ahead and threw in my portfolio when I brought it over here. Thank you, Republic, for going ahead and getting the billing insert for picking up leaves. And I'm glad to have had that come in September so people can go ahead and see the dates. I would highlight, due to various odds and ends, there's a slight change in terms of the fact that I know I've been able to leave a little bit of limbs out on the curb and they got picked up, but that's not allowed during this year because of difference in what the material will be used for. It's just leaves. But with that kind of introduction at this point, I know Sarah asked me to go ahead and put this on and actually put it in on Rake Up Meridian, which is kind of a co-event that occurs at that time. Sarah, did you want to go ahead and highlight some things about this?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about when it starts. So drop-off is going to start first October 18th to December 15th, so a pretty long time. And then the curbside is actually, the magnet has a shorter length, but Republic Services was able to extend it, so it's actually going to start October 31st and go till November 26th. And that you can have 10 bags per week out at the curb, leaves only, no tape or anything on the leaf bag, just leaf bags, preferably paper since it will hold up. And then you can put it out with your regular trash and it will be picked up by a different truck. So if your trash is picked up at one time, the leaves will be picked up a separate time. And then we'll have the same, for the drop-off, the same parks, 9 parks. You can also drop it off at the Meridian Transfer Station and the Ada County Landfill. And most of the information that's in the flyer is also on our website. And then during that time, Rake Up Meridian will be going on as well. And unfortunately, no pumpkins allowed. So.
Specifically called out. Anyway, once again, of course, the request is that we be using the paper bags. Paper bags are available in most of the hardware stores and grocery stores and such. But anyway, any questions about the LEAF program at this moment, so we can kind of get it on the record if there's any information that we need to get out?
Mr. Chair, is there also some dates where the leaf pickup, those people that pay for grass pickup containers can switch to leaves during this period?
Thank you. That was an extremely good point. Actually, it is in this that during that time period between October 18th and October 17th, curbside, October 31st and November 26th, above and beyond the bags, they can also use their grass recycling bins. So during that time period, those are picked up. I guess all of it gets picked up in the additional trucks that go out. So mention that when they go by and pick up your trash, that'll be one service, or the recycling, this will be a third route by that'll pick up the leaves.
And Mr. Chairman, Republic Services will again be supporting Rake Up Meridian. So we are encouraging teams to sign up. And I know Conrad already has, he's not here today, but he already he's on. He's already got a list going, and I know coordinates with parks to get the bags and get those delivered to the city facility. And then it's a window of time. It's no longer on just a Saturday. It's whenever the teams can coordinate with the individual needing help raking their yard. So it's from the 5th to the 20th of November.
Chair, I'd like to add something.
Yes, Sayard?
Also, if even you guys know any HOAs that maybe would benefit from maybe having, I could email that, the flyer that you sent, I can email an electronic version of that. So, just shoot me an email if you know of some outreach avenue that we can, outlet that we can use. I'll certainly email out that flyer.
Further questions or comments in regards to either Rake Up Meridian or the leaf collection program? Very good, thank you. Obviously, that's that's an extremely good service for our citizens, and we do appreciate that both the county go ahead and take the leaves for free, and that Republic includes it in the service that we have for our residential customers. And that takes care of, well, I take that back. Next we move on to is stakeholder updates. And I'm guessing this is an opportunity for me to open it up if there's anybody that needs to add something for us to consider.
Mr. Chairman, I would like us to consider opening up the community recycling fund for a grant cycle in the upcoming year, if there's interest by everyone else to do that. I think we've had a few years off and prices were low, but cardboard has been pretty steady all along. So I think we have money in there in the account to open up another grant cycle for fiscal year 23.
Commissioners, does anyone have any comments on that suggestion?
I agree.
Mr. Chair, I also do. I love to see money at work instead of just hanging out, not being used. But just timing-wise, a grant cycle for fiscal 23, would projects need to be completed in 23?
Thanks, Commissioner Larson. I think what we did last time was we opened it up. I can't remember when. Conrad, if you're on the phone, if you want to chime in, I know Conrad was really instrumental in pulling that together, but I think we opened it up at the beginning of the year, and then we asked that it be completed sometime. Like, we closed applications, it was open for 3 months or something, and then we reviewed them, and then they had until the end of the fiscal year to complete it, or they could file for an extension if they needed to go beyond. But we just had to have some, finish line for them to hit. So we opened it and then closed it, and then awarded the funds, and then gave them, I think it was 9 months to finish the project.
Thank you. So, the reason for my question is if we were to do that for fiscal 23, we'd need to act pretty quickly to get it open.
Chair, I have a comment.
Sayard.
I do remember that you guys decided last year that you wouldn't do it on a fiscal, it would just be a case-by-case basis. I don't know if you remember that, and that you wanted to focus more on outreach, not this grant thing. So I don't know if you are deciding that you want to change course, but I guess that's something to consider too. Is I think it was a revolving. So if someone came to you, then you would just at that time evaluate if it would be appropriate or not. But I think your focus was to switch gears and do more outreach. I think that might have been in summertime, or no, it would have been like late fall last year. I can't remember the exact month that you guys decided that.
Mr. Chair Sayard, I recollect that as well, that there was a desire to use those funds for outreach, which I also support, and some split in between. And I guess, maybe, Mr. Chair, it's a process question. I don't know how much money is in the fund now. What proposals do we have queued up for using that money for outreach, those kinds of things. So I guess it's kind of fallen off of our agenda a bit, and what should we be talking about that more routinely to just kind of keep things moving, keep those dollars rolling, either in an outreach project or a grant project or both.
And Mr. Chair and Sayard, I agree. I don't think we have a current grant application anywhere online. Like, I don't know if we would probably at least need to, if we're going to share funds or do something, like, say it's up to $5,000. I think I'm guessing probably around $40,000 at least right now in the community recycling fund. So maybe we open it up and say, it's a match. Generally, it's been some sort of match. And then, but I think if that's a direction we want to go, we might want to at least have an application online so that people could apply, and projects, even if there's no fiscal year or calendar year and it's ongoing, just to let people know that that's out there. And maybe there's some split or we do, have $10,000 a year in grants and the rest goes to community recycling funds, go to outreach or something. Maybe we can identify where funds go moving forward.
If I may, yes, you guys are remembering correctly pretty much on all of this stuff. Traditionally, what we've tried to do is to go ahead and have the commitment by the August meeting, and then put an announcement out at the start of September, have the application period open till maybe Thanksgiving, go ahead and choose our projects at the November meeting, give people their notification that they would hopefully start by July, because we do have commitments to go ahead and have the funding used by the end of the fiscal year, but we have a number of projects where people have requested an extension for various reasons, and we've been pretty good about doing that. And I think we're actually over $70,000 right now. So unfortunately, that opens up a bunch of things which we could certainly jump on fairly quick, pulling the information together to put together an application, quickly getting a announcement open, making a decision on if we want to go ahead and reserve some money and or just get all the applications that we can and award the ones we deem appropriate. There's a lot of questions that are associated with this, but of course we function by motions. So a motion is certainly in order, whether it be working out all these details and coming back in October with a solid proposal program, or going further if someone wants to propose something very specific. I'm certainly one that would be very happy to go ahead and facilitate getting done whatever the commission would like to get done.
Chair, can I add something?
Yes.
One thing that was left that you guys might want to consider is the procedure needed to be updated, because there was discussion about can a business apply, or who can apply, and what is it used for. So I think one recommendation is you might need to update your procedures on how that goes forward. But also keep in mind if you guys are focused on volunteer recruitment for the bike program, I guess, and where we have one more meeting left, do you want to focus on that versus the grant application? Or both? And I have that paperwork, because I could always email it to you, the grant stuff that you guys were working on last time, the procedures.
And that's to point out that we could go ahead and establish a November and a December meeting if we wanted to. We've done that in the past. Just obviously the fourth Wednesday conflicts pretty heavy with Thanksgiving and Christmas, so we would want to go ahead and do it a little different time in the month probably. But while we don't have meetings scheduled, it doesn't mean that we are prohibited from meeting. So anyway, certainly would appreciate some input at this point.
Well, Mr. Chair, I'm not sure what our next steps are, because other than kind of get refreshed on where we're at with procedures or an application form, I think it's coming back to me a little bit. We definitely don't want to sit on the funds, and its purpose is not to grow money, it's to get back out there. And I think we can do both, but I just don't know how much work it is to get the requirements kind of nailed down. And I don't remember what kind of limits we had per application. And it seems like we talked about not making it a guaranteed annual event because we don't have guaranteed annual funds. But it seems like it's built up enough that it's time to get it back out there. But can we, in the next few weeks or between now and next month, have that information collected up and we review it again and with some sort of recommendations from SAYERD or Republic Services on what those constraints, if they're still valid?
Yeah, I can certainly send you all that information, and then you guys can work out how you want it to go forward. I certainly have those documents.
And Mr. Chair and Commissioner Nelson, I think too, we didn't really have sideboards to who could apply in the past because the premise of it was to benefit the greater Meridian community. So whether that was coming from the Arts Commission or the Library Board or, whether it was a private business, I think the idea of these funds being available or matching funds being available is that somehow the greater community benefits from them being deployed and whatever project that is.
Okay, if I could it sounds to me like SAYERD and I should probably go ahead and put together a package of the procedure and papers that we've got and distribute that to you hopefully within the next week or two, and let you go ahead and consider that and be prepared. If we're going to go ahead and do this, then we'll want to move on it so that the people who are doing the work have a reasonable amount of time to go ahead and get it done before the end of the fiscal year. But again, it's not a drop dead thing because we have had requests for extension and we have granted it. So, but just for the sake of first shot out of the bag, the hope is that it's kind of a small thing that people can go ahead and finish in a reasonable time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Could we also include what the commission's action was around use of the funds? I recall the conversation that SAYERD was talking about, but I don't know if we specified half the dollars set aside for outreach and half for a grant, or if we made any decisions around that, and if we didn't, maybe that would be an appropriate discussion for October. How much of the funds should we preserve for outreach activities, et cetera? And I know the Squishy Water Bottle program we funded out of that, if I'm remembering correctly, so we'd want to think ahead to that and make sure we've preserved funds for that as well, I think.
Yeah, I can certainly, I'll email all of you guys I'll look for the minutes for that, and then I'll also email you the grant document, and then Steve and, you guys can work together on, changing it or drafting it, how you see fit.
further comments on the CRF program that we need to be thinking of and preparing for? Good discussion. I think we've got something we can go ahead and work on to get to you and be prepared next month, kind of decide how far in we're going to go or at this time. Anyway, are there other items of business that need to be brought before the commission at this time? Hearing none, then I guess we'll go ahead and move on to adjournment. It is 8 minutes to 5. Thank you for your participation in the meeting, and I look forward to seeing you next month for a robust discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.